Good morning, I am Renu Sharma, Assistant Professor EC Department. Today I am going to start with the next lecture, and the topic of today's lecture is NGN, that is Next Generation Network. So, these are the contents of today's lecture. What we will discuss about NGN, its introduction, existing network infrastructure and convergence towards the NGN, its definition, architecture, protocol and various services that is offered by NGN network. First, we will discuss what is NGN. So, today telephony, the internet and the cellular mobile networks continue to be different domains. Each has its own protocols and services. NGN will be the foundation for the creation of a new range of multimedia applications that takes full advantage of characteristics of broadcast network and always on capabilities. So, with the increasing demand of internet, with the increasing number of users, good quality of connection has to be set up between the transmitter and receiver, like when we are doing a call, when we are initiating a call, that has to be set up between the transmitter and receiver. So, during a call, let us say it is a 1 hour call, and the connection has to be very good. The speech conversation which is going on has to be of good quality, and since this COVID time we are much working on over the internet, like video calls are there, voice calls are there, every meeting is done on Google Meet. So, that requires a very good quality of internet connectivity. So, that is the case, this NGN is requires, which will provide the full advantage of broadband network. Broadband means when there is more than less number of transmitters and more number of receivers are there. So, that is the case of broadband network, and the always on capability, that whenever you want to transmit the information you can easily capable, whether it is daytime, night time, any time, it is always on capability. So, existing network infrastructure and convergence towards the next generation network. Today's network is divided into public switch telephone network. Public switch telephone network means the landline phones that are connected, then packet switched networks, the internet and the mobile networks. So, internet is basically you want to transmit, you want to deliver the data, and you want to access something, you want to search something on internet, you want to upload a file, you want to download a file, want to send an email. So, that is all related to packet switched form, means the data is transmitted in the form of packets only. You do not need to require the data to be transmitted in circuit switched form. Circuit switched case means when a network has to be set up between the transmitter and receiver prior to the purpose of transmission. So, that is the case for circuit switch, but in case of packet switch, whenever you want to transmit the data you can access the internet. So, next third type of network that has been used is mobile networks. Now, mobile network is, it has two meanings. Mobile networks means a network that has been set up between the users who are moving in nature. Secondly, it is strictly designed for the mobile phones only. Now, convergence is the process of interconnection of traditional switched circuit network and the packet switched network on the internet protocol for routing purpose. So, convergence is basically when you are interconnecting 2 or 3 different services for the purpose of routing or for the purpose of transmission. Now, NGN is basically the next generation network, is wide range and is interpreted variously by the broad variety of players involved in the communication business. So, NGN is basically is associated with large number of users that want to access the internet, that want to transmit the information. So, that is known as NGN. Its another definition is it is a concept of defining and deploying the networks which due to their formal separation into different layers and planes and use of interfaces offer service providers and operators a platform which can evolve in a step by step manner to create, to deploy and to manage the innovative services. which means that it is a NGN, next generation network, is a kind of concept which has been used for designing a network which, due to their formal separation into different layers and planes and use of open interfaces, offer service providers and operators a platform which can evolve in a step by step manner to create, deploy and manage innovative services. Which means that let us say for with the increasing demand, you have to set up a new network every time. So, for setting up, there are different types of models that are available, like ISO OSI model, which has 7 layers. Now, 7 layers are physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport, session, presentation and application. So, these are the 7 layers which is associated with ISO OSI model. Then when we have moved to another protocol, that is TCP IP, transmission control protocol, internet protocol, there are only 5 layers, which is host to network layer, then transport layer, session, presentation and application. So, these are the 5 layers, which means that these 3 layers is associated with host to network layer. So, this is how we have reduced this 7 layers into 5 layer architecture, that is TCP IP. So, NGN definition means that when we want to set up any kind of network, it has to be in such a manner that it will be designed, it will be created in a layered architecture form and it is explainable to everyone. Like if a reverse kind of thing has to be done, that what are the layers that has been that constituted a particular network, it is easy to find out that specifications about that setup network. Now, NGN architecture, the basic architecture was defined comprising of network elements needed for the provision of traditional telephony services. So, basic kind of architecture that was designed at the very first time, that is used for the telephony services. We do not require to transfer the data, because the internet use was not at that higher rate as compared to that what we have used now. So, each element has distinct role within the network and is designed to integrate horizontally with other elements in the same layer as well as vertically with the function based element of the other layers. Like a layer architecture is there, like there are 7 layers of ISO OSI model are there. So, initially some layers can transfer the information parallelly from physical layer at the transmitter side to physical layer at the receiver side, and also transferring is been done from upper layer part to the another part. So, that is the case with ISO OSI model. Each element has distinct role within the network and is designed to integrate horizontally also and vertically. The NGN architecture is based on 4 layers, that is access layer. So, these are the 4 layers which are associated, which is associated with the NGN architecture: access layer, core layer, control and service layer. So, these are the 4 layers which are making up a NGN network. Now, NGN layers are like, first one is the access layer. What does it mean? The access layer elements includes different media gateways that support the connection to and from the access network with the core network. So, basically there are different types of gateways are there, like router, router is there, switch is there, a hub is there, bridge is there. So, these are some of the media gateways which are going to provide the connection to and from the access network. Core layer is the network handling converged services based on the internet protocol. Control layer is the call server that provides call control function and also provides the control of the media gateway. Service layer. So, in case of this core layer, it is used for handling the converged services that is based on the internet protocol. So, that is the case of core layer. Now, next one is the control layer, which is the call server that provides the call control function and also provides the control of the media gateway. So, when we are talking about because NGN is not only set up for the transmission and reception of the voice signals, it is used also for the transmission of the data also. So, when this call control functions is been controlled by this, so control layer will be used. Service layer is a IT platform that plays the role of an INSCE, that is Intelligent Network Service Creation Environment, extending their functionality in order to cover the new network scenario. So, that is the case for NGN. Now, next is different types of NGN components that make up a NGN architecture. So, in this case it is a media gateway, the call server NGN components are there, then application server, application creation environment, packet network, access network. So, these are some of the networks or gateways or servers that are related to this NGN component, that is next generation network. Now, after discussing different types of layers, different types of components that will make up an NGN, and we have discussed what is the definition of NGN, we will going to see how this NGN architecture looks like. Now, you can see like this one is the access network at the transmitter and the receiver side. Now, this is a media gateway, this is packet network because this NGN is based on packet networking, packet transmissions only. Then there will be a call server both sides, and this is an application server. This will make up a application creation environment. So, whenever we have set up any architecture, any network for the purpose of communication, now whatever network has been set up with the increasing demand of accessing to the internet, because the data transmission is much more important. So, that is why NGN network comes into the picture, where for different application then environment or a network has to be set up, so that a good quality of information can be transmitted. So, this is how this will work. This network, there is an access network which will going to access this media gateway. Media gateway is just a connection between the packet network and the access network, and it is also kind of a connection that has been set up between the call server. So, whenever you want to set up a call, then this can also be used. Now, NGN and protocols. So, NGN requires new protocols to support converged networks. Requirements are, what are the requirements of this NGN? Support for legacy PSTN interworking, migration plan from legacy to NGN, high availability, lifeline services and scalability. So, these are some of the requirements that are associated with NGN, like the PSTN internetworking. PSTN internetworking means since PSTN, public switch telephone network, is strictly used for the transmission and reception of the voice signals, like for the public booth that are available for the landline phone, this PSTN is being used. Then migration plan from legacy to NGN has to be set up, and high availability of the services which are required, because that is why only a network has been set up. Then lifeline services and scalability. Scalability means larger number of users can use a channel. So, that is the case of lifeline services. So, with so many protocols which one to choose, H.323 SIP. SIP means session initiation protocol, MGCP, that is media gateway control protocol, SIGTRAN, that is SIGTRAN. So, these are some of the protocols that you can choose from for the purpose of NGN. So, why should traditional telecommunication carrier care about NGN services? So, since we are having the telecommunication services traditional is there, so why it has to care about this NGN services? These are some of the reasons, like if the public network carriers wants to prosper in the new millennium, they must find ways to add values to their transport services. So, whatsoever are the services which are earlier available, we have to add some of the additional services that will boost up the pre-existing services, so that it can be used in the NGN next generation networking. So, NGN will allows carriers networks to cost effectively support new suite of sophisticated services. So, NGN is basically supports the whatever we require in the next generation. It helps reduce cost by eliminating inefficiencies of current services, specific proprietary and non-reusable solutions. It reduces the time to market and life cycle cost of offering new services. So, whatever time is required for to the market and life cycle cost of offering the new services. So, with the use of this NGN, whatever extra charges are being required for the purpose of this services to be used has been reduced. NGNs will enable carriers to deploy advanced services, allowing them to remain competitive as well as expand their capabilities to enter the new market. So, that is the case why we require this traditional telecommunication services. Now, NGN services, several services that will be important drivers in the NGN environment are, first one is voice telephony. So, voice telephony means simply the transmission of the voice signals, like call waiting is there, like when two people are already talking and another call is has initiated, then the call waiting is being heard by the user. Call forwarding is there, when someone is not able to pick up the call, then it can forward the call to another number also. Then three-way calling is there. Three-way calling is basically a conference call, a con call you can say. And then voice portal is there, which will provide the callers with anywhere anytime access to information like news, weather, stock codes and account balances using simple voice commands and any telephone. So, that is the case with voice portal. So, voice portal means it will provide any these types of services, like you can you have seen the Alexa, Google, where whatever you want to say, it will going to provide you with such type of information. And since that information is basically related to training of the neural network only, whenever it has to first train with your voice, then it can recognize your voice. And because every person is having different type of pronunciation of the same word, three person can say a single word in a three different manner. So, that is why we require the learning of the particular kind of system. Then data services, bandwidth on demand, connection reliability, resilient. So, these are some of the services additional that has to be provided to make up a NGN service. Next is multimedia services. Now, this will allow, first one, this allows the customers to converse with each other while displaying the visual information. So, there are different types of multimedia services which are provided, and it has to be added with the NGN network, with the existing network, to make up a NGN network. Like whatever customer are if it is displaying any kind of information, now you can make a conversation over that while doing that. So, that is a parallel kind of thing. Now, next one is the virtual private network. It allows large and geographical dispersed organizations to combine their existing private networks with portions of the PSTN, and thus providing subscriber with uniform dialing capability. So, whatever system is available for the voice signal transmission, like the private networks are existing, you can say an example of LAN, if it is already existing. Now, you can add up with another PSTN services, like LAN is specifically used for the transmission of data signals. And now, if you can add a kind of voice signals also with this existing network, now this will going to provide the, this will enhance the services that is provided by the NGN. Now, public network computing, it provides public network based computing services for businesses and consumers. Example, host to a web page, store, maintain or backup data files, or run a computing application. So, this is another kind of NGN application. Now, next one is unified messaging. What is unified messaging? It supports the delivery of voicemail, email, fax and pages through common interfaces. So, this is unified means message which is been which is not a kind of broadcast message like voicemail or email, you want to deliver it to a single person only. So, that means it is a unified kind of messaging. Next one is information brokering, that is involves the advertising, finding and providing information to match consumers with providers. E-commerce, that allows the consumers to provide to purchase goods and services electronically over the internet. So, that is the case for e-commerce. Now, e-commerce is very much popular nowadays, like Amazon, Flipkart, Snapdeal, different types of platforms are available from which you can purchase goods, and different services are also provided to you electronically. You can purchase from anywhere, any part of the world, you can purchase and use that particular thing. So, that is the case with NGN. This is provided by NGN service. Next one is call center services. A subscriber could place a call to a call center agent by clicking on a web page. So, that is also the service that is being provided by the NGN, that is a call center service. You can connect to any platform, like different help supports are provided by different e-commerce sites or different other sites also to use that particular service. Then interactive gaming is there, offers consumers a way to meet online and establish interactive gaming sessions. So, this is also a service that has been provided by the NGN network. Next is distributed virtual reality. So, it refers to the technologically generated representation of real world events, people, places, experiences, etc., in which the participants in and providers of the virtual experience are physically distributed. So, basically distributed virtual reality. Virtual reality is a very broad topic, very broad area, which means that whatever is present in real world, you can access it using this type of technology virtually in a kind of game zone, different types of games which are available, in which the person is not physically available, but they the place is like virtual reality is visible like a virtual reality to the person who is playing that particular game. Next one is home manager. These services could monitor and control the home security systems, energy systems, home entertainment system and other appliances. So, this is a very old, you can say, type of technology, but different advancement can be done in home manager. What is home manager is actually, it is a kind of application. You can install it on your phone, and whenever you are not present at your home, you can access your lights, you can access different appliances in your kitchen, in your at your office also you can switch off the light, you can operate the main door. So, these are some of the services that comes under this home manager. So, with this additional services which can be added to the existing network, existing data service provider or existing control signal provider, you can increase the services with the next generation network, and which is the demand of the coming networking. So, that is all about NGN. These are the references that you can consider for this particular topic. Thank you.